This is the Entertainment Roundup for Monday, September 17th, 2012. I'm J77, and I got a couple of stories to talk about. I might as well start off with the one that's a little bit close to political views, as well as Hollywood and their involvement of politicians, especially parties. And you know where, guys, I'm going with this. The Clint Eastwood situation, the story just seems not to end, especially after some of the parodies and the Twitters that has been going around ever since that Clint Eastwood situation where he was speaking to an empty chair. We had a Twitter account, I believe, for Invisible Obama. There were also a new terminology called Eastwooding, where people talk to an invisible chair, animals talking to an invisible chair. It's just one of the those most craziest things that you kind of expect to happen, especially after the incident at the GOP's convention, the Republican National Convention. My own feeling on this is, say, look, you know, despite what I may have felt about what has happened with Clint Eastwood being on the podium like that, and how awkward it was, and how it didn't help the Republican convention too much. I still am a great fan of his work. He's done so much for Hollywood. He made so many great films, starred in so many memorable films, starred in so many memorable characters. Is to sit there and just hold a grudge on him for something that he believes. And look, like I said, he can be Republican, Democrat. It doesn't matter. That's his business. If he's a Republican for whatever reason he feels, that's fine. If he's a Democrat, that's fine. That's not the reason to hate on the guy. I respect the guy so much, and I think that most of the people, though, even those who are making fun of him, if they look deep down, they say, yeah, they're still a fan of his work. There's a new movie coming out. I'm sure most of his diehard fans will watch the film. It's actually the first film he hasn't even directed in a long time, so that's something. That's how I'm saying something. But overall, I don't really think that people should hold too much of a grudge on Clint Eastwood and him, you know, doing what he did with the Republican National Convention. If anything, I'm more concerned of the Republican National Convention, period. And it ain't just because of Clint Eastwood. It's because of a lot of stuff. But I don't want to get into it here. This is more entertainment. Basically, the reason also why I'm bringing this out is because Clint Eastwood recently spoke out about the National Convention speech. And I do have an article here, and I will leave a link to the article. It says, Clint Eastwood is standing by his memorable Republican National Convention speech, insisting that he didn't care about the reaction to his unusual stand-up routine at last month's gathering at Tampa. One advantage by being my age is that you know what can they do to you. Eastwood said in an interview with CNN, you just have fun and do what you think, and then you can say what you think. You don't have to edit yourself. You know what? I'm gonna leave that for you guys to talk about. But also, what the article says, Eastwood caused a stir on the last night of the Republican convention when he gave a rumbling at a time incoherent speech targeted at President Barack Obama, who Eastwood pretended was sitting at an empty chair next to him. It also goes on and say that basically what he was saying about in the speech, he said, "What do you want me to tell Romney?" He was said at a visit with Obama. "I can't tell him to do that. I can't tell him to do that to himself. You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. You're getting as bad as Biden. Of course, we all know Biden is an intelligent of the Democratic Party." Yeah, basically it's repeating a lot of stuff that he was saying. I will leave the link below, but yeah, it was not the greatest of hours. I do respect the fact that he's standing by what he said, but there is, in a situation like that with the Republican Party, sometimes it's best to have a prepared speech. That's all I'm saying. But in any case, look, you know, Clint Eastwood, he's in his 80s. He's a veteran. Whether he believes that Romney can be the best president that we ever had or not, really is not my concern. He can believe that if he wants. Uh, the only thing I think when it comes to this was the fact is that the national convention was just to me it was more about me instead of what the president can do and why I should elect the president, why I should elect Romney as my president. And when he came on that stage, it was just I just smiled. I had nothing else to say but smile. But again, look, if he believes that Barack Obama did a bad job, that's fine. I have no problem with that. I think that he's entitled to his own opinion, his own views, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. I think that the fact I don't even think he should have explained anything to CNN. To be honest with you, I don't think he owes anybody an explanation, let alone the GOP party. I think if anything, that's their own fault. They should have had at least have a prepared speech prepared for him. But knowing Clint Eastwood, he probably wouldn't have taken it anyway. But again, I don't think that he owes anybody an apology, nor do he owes anybody a true explanation. If he feels that what he stands by what he says, that's fine. Hey, look, you have your opinion, I got mine. We may disagree, but at least I respect your opinion. And I got to give you credit by saying, look, I just want to have fun. I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm 82 years old. What the hell you think you're going to do to me? I already done it. I already got mine. Go on and get yours. And that's all it is to it. But again, it does have like the pretty much the whole entire act pretty much scripted here. It tells what he said. And you guys judge for yourself. Do you think he should have speaked out on the convention, on the national convention? I don't think he did. I don't think people was going to make that big of a case. In fact, even those who are poking fun at the situation, they're not really bashing Clint Eastwood to the point where they're going to stop watching his film or stop watching the good and the bad and the ugly. That's not going to happen. So, in my own opinion, you don't need to owe anybody an explanation. But you guys may have a different opinion. I'd love to hear from it. I will leave the link below. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to move on. But this article here is a little bit more serious. It's a little bit more, pretty much, as you guys know, has been going on around the Mideast countries, and that is the innocent Muslim. I was originally going to do this as a separate video or pretty much a special What's News, but I decided to just wait and just hear out what's more that was going on in this situation, especially since this ridiculous, dumb, short film, which don't even deserve the time of day or the attention, has caused so much unnecessary unrest in the Middle East. That I often shook my head at both sides at this matter, especially those who are leaders who are encouraging this unrest. For a film, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even think they even saw. They just heard what was in the film, and they immediately just blew a gasket to the point where you have people dying from for nothing, in my opinion. Now listen, I don't want I'm gonna get to this point here between both sides here. The filmmaker's a jerk. The guy who made this is a jerk. He's a con, and the fact that that he made this film for the sole purpose of creating unrest is a bigot who, in my opinion, should be arrested for inciting a riot. I know that's not going to happen because a lot of people are saying that as controversial as this film is, he has the right to make a film as part of the freedom of speech laws. That's fine, but you know what? There should be some common sense into this situation. He basically bashed not only the Muslim faith, but also a man who he should know the Muslim nation takes very, very to heart. I mean, they do not like their leader, their symbol, to be insulted in the way this despicable movie has done. I say despicable because the fact that I've seen it and the fact that how they approach this, it's basically mind-boggling. I just shook my head when I saw it and I just said, this film is not even worth me mentioning. Unfortunately, some people got a hold of it, especially the extremists who will love to use anything against the United States as an excuse, and they're the ones who's really causing a lot of unrest. And you got leaders from both sides really not really helping matters when it comes to this movie, and you even got actors, sadly, who thought they was making a totally different film that had nothing to do with Muhammad, got their voices dubbed and you can tell it's been dubbed just by looking at their mouths moving, to the point where now they're saying, "Hey, look, we did not expect this movie to be done like this. We're condemning this. We had nothing to do." And now their lives are maybe in danger as well, all because this guy, for reasons only known to him, felt he needs to trash a faith because he don't believe their faith is genuine. I have my own feeling on this, but not just on the Muslim faith, but on all faiths. But I'm gonna leave that alone. But what I am saying is that the man who made this film is a prick, and the people who's causing unrest in the Middle East is a prick too, because there's no excuse for them going as crazy for this movie and creating unrest and even death for a movie they didn't even see. I seriously doubt they saw this film, and if they did, they probably look at this film and said, "This has nothing to do." If you really want to voice your disapproval about this, fine. You want to make a protest, fine, but don't make it to the point where now lives are being lost. It doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, it just doesn't make any sense. And I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me on that, but to me, I've seen films that are controversial in this country, pointing on from Jesus to spiritual leaders. I don't get mad. I can choose to take it for its worth, or just basically ignore it and say I don't agree with what they say, and give my reasons why. South Park is notorious for that. How many times South Park had poked fun on religion? I lost count after a while how much they offended a lot of religious faith, and they do it on purpose. They make it be known. That's their main stick. So if I can't get mad, and I know it's on good fun, I can't really get upset about a film. And let's be honest, it's a terrible film. It's based on propaganda and lies. You know what? Fine, condemn the movie. Say that's not what the religion's all about, but don't go around breaking into embassies and killing people who had nothing to do with this film. And that's the thing that I really don't get. And I'm hearing these leaders from these countries saying we need to make more protests. All I have to say is, why don't you sit down and watch this film for yourself and ask yourself, is this all this bickering and anger is all about? If anything, you're probably going to say, you know what, this person don't even know what the hell he's talking about. Why are we wasting our time on this? No, we'll condemn it. We say that they say this is wrong, and just let it go. And it does also ask the question of this, and I'm going a little bit off the entertainment roundup topic a little bit, but it does ask me the one major question here. And you feel free to voice your opinion on this, because I like to hear from all sides on this matter. But I'm going to say it like this: if something like this sparks you to become violent and even murderous, to the point where you want to kill someone over something that you even didn't see, or is basically just blowing it way out of proportion, then maybe it's not the movie. Maybe it's not the innocent Muslim that is the problem. Maybe it's something within you. Because I'm not buying that this is just that movie. I just think they're looking for an excuse to create unrest, and this is just one excuse to create unrest. That's just my opinion, of course. But I can't, from my opinion, the guy who made this film, he's a prick. He's an idiot. And I don't feel sorry for him if he even gets, if he go back to jail for parole violation. Because I'll get to that in a second. Because that probably ties into the article. But at the same time, I'm not going to excuse anyone who is involved of hurting other people, including killing other people, based on a movie that we all know ain't true, and based on a film that they themselves probably didn't see or just heard from somebody else. It doesn't make any sense. And I really, to me, there's a lot of hypocrisy that's involved in that, and let's be realistic here. I'm like this: practice what you preach. You know, if you don't, if you You can't get mad when somebody makes something here when you yourself does almost the same thing. I'm just saying. And to me, these extremists, they're making a lot of things a lot worse than what it needs to be. I'm sorry. I mean, you can protest the film, but to take it to that extreme level, there's no excuse for that. And my own feelings on that matter. So let me get back to this article here, because that's the main gist of the article that we are talking about. And it pretty much says an innocent Muslim shot on Hollywood set on film connected to a Christian charity. He's the one who is being looked at right now, and according to other reports, which I will get to in a minute, he may be heading back to jail, depending if what he have done, not particularly for the movie, but what he have done in terms of aliases and whatnot, is termed for violation. So I will get to both of these articles in a second. But let me just read the first one. Details are being sorted regarding the anti-Muslim film Innocent of Muslim, which has engaged radical Islamics to provoke protests across the Middle East. 4 Americans, including U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens, were killed in the movie-related attack in Libya on Tuesday, and protest continues throughout the week. The movie was filmed on Hollywood set, and has been linked to Christian charity. Sorry if I got his last name wrong, but at this point, I really don't care. The Innocent of Muslim was partly filmed as a set built for CBS TV shows Jag by Paramount TV's unit, according to the Hollywood Reporter. Portions of the low-budget film was shot in Santa Clara, California, on an area of a Blue Cloud film ranch called Bangladesh Square. This set has been used by TV and movie producers, including Iron Man, Arrested Development, and CSI. The recent Middle Eastern war zone. Though reports that Paramount said that they had no way to verify whether the studios built the set, however, Kopi Christian from Karato, according to the Los Angeles Times, I have no clue who this guy is. It says here pretty much that the guy who they talked to is the same guy, because this guy has a lot of let me verify this. This guy has a lot of alias names, and it's hard to keep up how many aliases name he has, and that's also one of the reasons why you got to be that he's also in a lot of trouble, because he may have used an alias name even though he wasn't supposed to. So I want to make sure I correct that. I do apologize for that, but you believe me, when you see this article, you understand. He was also convicted of a financial crime, according to the AP. In 2010, he pleaded no contest to federal bank fraud charges after setting up a fraudulent account with stolen identities and social security numbers in California, and was ordered to pay $790,000 in restitution. He was sentenced to 21 months in prison and banned from using computers or the internet for 5 years without permission from probation officer. And that's where he could be going back to jail, because if he posted this on the internet, which he did, and it's proven that he have done that from either a computer or someone else's computer using internet access, he can easily get violated for that, because that's his confirmed addition of parole. Stephen King's an anti-Islamic activist and a veteran and a Vietnam War veteran acted as a consulate on the film. Kevin also has a weekly show, Media for Christ Satellite Network. The Way TV, the LA Times reported. The Innocent Muslim director dubbed the 80 cast and crew members involved in the film. According to CNN, they said they were grossly misled about the film's intent and purpose. The entire cast and crew are extremely upset and feel taken advantage of by producers. They said in a statement to CNN they were 100% not behind this film and were grossly misled about the intent of the purpose. We are all shocked by the this 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 by the rewrite, sorry, of the script and lies that were told to all involved. We are deeply saddened and by the tragedy that has occurred. Okay, it also says that the innocent Muslim clip was posted on YouTube in English and in Arabic, negatively portraying the Prophet Muhammad as a sex obsessed individual who engaged in relations with young people and committed acts of sadistic violence. And that is what's bringing a lot of people to be very, very upset, very, very angry. And it's definitely something that is going to continue at least until things finally calm down. But this is not over yet. Like I said, there's another article that I want to bring up. And this is the other article that I got here that pretty much explains that, and it's from Rutgers here. It says here in this article, it says left home voluntarily to speak a probation officer. The guy's name, who has so many aliases, I'm just going to call alias number 1 from now on because he has so many alias names, is not under arrest and not handcuffed. Use of alias internet may violate persons' release terms, which we have already spoken to in the first article. And it says here, the California man convicted of a bank fraud was taken in for questioning on Saturday by officers investigating a possible probation violation stemming from making an anti-Islamic film that targeted violent protests in the Muslim world. Jesus Christ, this guy's name. Alias number 1, 55, voluntarily left his home in the early hours of Saturday morning for the meeting with some meeting in the sheriff's station in Los Angeles, suburbs of Los Angeles County Sheriff's spokesman Steve Weifman said. He will be interviewed by the federal probation officer. Weifman said he said that alias number 2 has not been placed under arrest but will not be returning home immediately. He was never put in handcuffs. It was all voluntarily. This man who has denied involvement in the film in a phone call to his co-Christian bishop was ushered out of his home and into a waiting car by several sheriff deputies. Has his face shielded by scarves and hats and sunglasses. So he's continuing to assist, even though Associated Press have pretty much did a good job on Thursday by tracking down this so-called director, who first everybody thought that he was a Jewish guy who had Israeli background, which Israel responds saying, I don't even know who this guy was. Then they said he was a Christian. Then he said he was this. Then he said he was 55 on 45. He made up a lot of different lies. And then after making the phone call, which was pretty much his fatal mistake there, was traced back to him. And Associated Press did a pretty much extent job tracing it back. And even though he tried to deny it, a lot of his names seemed to trace right back to him. So the crudely made 15-minute English language film filmed in California has circulated on the internet under several titles, including Innocent Muslim, Mock the Prophet of Muhammad. The film sparked violent protests in the United States consulate in Libya City and Bangladesh, during which the U.S. Embassy and 3 other Americans were killed on Tuesday. Protests have spread in other countries across the Muslim world. For many Muslims, any description of the Prophet is blasphemous. And pretty much they are making that point very clear. with these very violent protests. Um, is deemed insulting in the past, have provoked protests and drawn com- condemnation from officials, preachers, ordinary Muslims, and many Christians. U.S. officials have said authorities were not investigating the film project itself, and that even if it was inflammatory or led to violence, simply producing it cannot be considered a crime in the United States, which has strong free speech laws. There are the two attorneys visiting alias number two home hours before he was taken into question. They said they were to consult with him. They said they were to consult with him. And this article also shows stuff that he had done. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it basically shows the same thing in the other article, what he was charged with, and why he could be violated again for using a computer, especially alias names. He's not allowed to do that. And that pretty much alone could be grounds for violation under his terms and condition. Um, I don't know what to say other than they may take him just under those grounds alone, or they just may restrict him so he can't use any kind of computer-related equipment. Period. It all goes down to what the parole officer is going to do, especially how long he's been out, and how long has he been a good citizen under their conditions. So to say that he should be going back in, it may or may not happen. What I do know is that, from what I understand, and this is something that I have looked up, YouTube has been working on progress to removing any related videos that shows that movie. Even though a lot of people has been making, been uploading it into their own channel, YouTube has been trying to block all of them. You might still get some of them depending on where you look, but most likely they are working extra hard to get that thing blocked. To me, damage has already been done, so there's only so much they can do. But yeah, that's definitely some very, very deep stuff that's been going on between that video. And look, again, I'm gonna be very straight up. I think the guy's a prick. There should be no reason why there should be no reason why he should have made that video, knowing, and I do believe he knew what was going to happen. And now that it happened, he's basically trying to hide under a rock, because at first he came out and said that there should have been more security, basically saying that that movie had nothing to do with me. And then we found out that he is hiding, but still backs up what he says for a telephone. You have a reverend whose name I will not discuss in my mouth, because I think he's a sick individual, and he doesn't represent anything that's Christian-like in my view. Supporting him, and now we have this situation where he not only violated parole, but he basically may have basically lied in front of whole actors who thought this was a whole entire different film, and it turns out to be totally the opposite. No one's coming out clean in this. No one. And to me, whoever produced this film, whoever knew what was the film all about, should be ashamed of themselves. That's the best I can say. They should be ashamed of themselves, because they alone had really. They were the domino effect. They set the dominoes in motion to topple over, and now we got this. And the only thing I can hope for is somebody from both sides with a reasonable head say, hey, look, I'm not condoning this either, but let's calm down. Let's not go over the top here, because if you see the film, it's just a terrible, poorly misled film that don't even deserve that even attention. It really don't, and that's just my own opinion about it. But again, I like to hear your guys' feels on this. I like to hear your guys' opinion on it. The only reason why I'm putting it as an entertainment thing at all instead of a What's News is because it's still something to do with entertainment, and it does raise the one major question: is how much can you talk about a character without insulting a nation or a specific religious group, especially when you're talking about someone that they hold very, very dear. And let's be honest, Muhammad is not the only spiritual leader a lot of people hold dear to. About a year ago, I did a video about Mel Gibson's attempt to do a McAfee movie, and I went out and said straight up, I said I don't think he should do the film, especially with his history, with his anti-Semitics. A lot of people had mixed feelings towards that. A lot of people had very strong mixed feelings about that. And this pretty much falls on the same line, except this guy already done it, and we've seen the results. So, you give me an opinion on this matter. But be honest about it. What's your feelings about it? I'd like to hear from it. I'll leave a link to 2 of these videos below. Do apologize if I stumbled a little bit, but like I said, there's some of these guys' names here. This guy's name is just ridiculous to announce. He has so many alias names. I just said, you know, the hell with it. Just call him alias number 2. I'll leave the link below so you guys can look at it yourselves and come up with your own conclusion. Gonna do one more, and then I'm gonna, leave the last bits for the second half. And this one is pretty much, I'm sad, disappointed, but most importantly, I am concerned. I'm very, very concerned because you never hear until now about this actress self-destructing the way she is now. And hearing her name come up in the news, and not in a good way, is disappointing. But at the same time, I'm saying, is there something going on that I think her family and her friends should look into? And I'm talking about Amanda Bynes. Amanda Bynes is one of my favorite teen actress when I was growing up. I followed her pretty much throughout most of the All That series until all that got a little bit boring. She did a couple of good movies. Decent films for young teens, young girls, and at that time. But overall, the one thing I always said that a lot of people had a lot of high praises. A lot of people had a lot of high praises for her. Out of all the teen actors and actresses that was coming up, with Frankie Muniz being included, a lot of people wanted to see her in more films, and especially more serious roles. And she has gotten into some serious roles. She even had a sitcom at one time. I know she made an announcement about a year and a half ago when she said she was quitting Hollywood, and everybody was like, wow, why are you quitting Hollywood? You're still in your prime. Why would you do that? And I believe that she wanted to do other works. Later on, she unretired and came back, but to be fair, I haven't seen her do anything major in a while. I haven't seen her do anything big, at least something that was memorable in the last few years. Well, apparently, a few weeks ago, she was involved in a situation where she has been charged with a hit and run as well as a misdemeanor DUI. Her license has been suspended, and it doesn't seem like it has stopped her from driving and allegedly smoking a substance in her car. This was actually caught on pictures, and you know how the paparazzi are. And the more you see this kind of behavior, the more I'm very, very concerned. There's definitely something going on there, and even though the media is painting her as this person who's irresponsible now, look at her. This Goody Good Shoes is now showing her true colors. I believe there's something more to it. I believe that there's something that's going on, and I think that the families and friends should, have a little chat with her and say, look, what's going on? What's happening? Talk to us. And if it has nothing to do with the pressures of Hollywood, but maybe it was best that she stepped away from it. Maybe it was best that she retired from that lifestyle until she's full again and she's healthy again, mentally at least. And then when she's ready to take on the pressures of Hollywood, I think she'd be welcomed back with open arms. And I say this because this is not a coincidence. We've seen a lot of stars have gone through this at one point or another. Some was able to recover fine and move on. Britney Spears is one of them. She had a very serious breakdown, or even myself said, her career is over. She's not going to recover from this. And 2 albums later, she's doing fine. She's she's one of the highest paying women in the business, and now she's she's doing, I believe, one of the X Factors, I believe. So I think she's done fine. There's other stars not so well. Lindsay Lohan is even though she's starting from scratch, her antics ruined her. You had Noah Ryder, who shoplifting situation almost cost her a career. It was a long, long time since we seen Miss Ryder back into the big screen, and she was an up and coming actress at that time. And it took one shoplifting incident, and Hollywood just basically turned off the lights. They basically closed the door on her. It took a very long time, and our first appearance, and I almost didn't recognize her, was in Star Trek, playing Spock's mom. I was very stunned. I like, wow, I didn't recognize you. But make no mistake about it, that was a career killer right there. And Amanda Bynes, I'm not saying that this is going to be probably a career killer, but he's getting very close to where she may end up, she may not end up ruining her chances to having a strong career in Hollywood. I hope that doesn't happen because she has worked very hard during her young life, and to see it all get flushed down like this, it'd be a very damn shame. But there's make no mistake about it. There is some concern to be had here. Now, before I go any further here, I want to make this very clear because this is a very short article. I don't know. There has been no proof because a lot of people saying that was marijuana she was smoking. Because the picture showed a pipe, and it looked like she was inhaling that pipe. Now that pipe could have been anything. So it could be just regular tobacco for all we know. I don't want to go out and say that she was smoking an illegal substance. It says she was smoking a suspicious substance, but they don't know what that is. I do know that she may be in serious deep hot water if it's proven that she was driving without a license or a suspended license with that. So with all that situations going on, I think Amanda Bynes should just chill out for a while, stay home, or be with family. Especially in this time of need, be with family because right now, she is the hot topic in entertainment talk right now. All these magazines, all the tabloids are going to be looking at her, and it's not going to be in the greatest of light. And if I'm her father or any of her friends, I'm like, hey, look, what's going on? Talk to us. What's going on? What can we do to help you? And that's the thing that she needs right now. She needs family. She needs friends, true friends that's really care for, not those vultures who are just looking just to get a little cash and be bounced. I'm talking about real family, real friends, ones that are really going to be concerned about her. Because make no mistake about it, hearing this, especially from her history, this is not Lindsay Lohan here. And I want to make that very clear. This is a woman who actually is not a party girl. She really isn't. At least in history. And if she is, she keeps that mostly to herself. Hearing this, it does concern me. It really does. So let me just read the small article. It's very short, very simple. And it says here, Amanda Bynes has been making headlines recently for her dangerous driving habits. And now her erratic behavior has people worried that something might be seriously wrong with the actress. According to TMZ, one of Bynes' neighbors has spotted her having lots of conversations with an intimate object, while other witness her at the gym, seen her talking to herself and laughing hysterically for no reasons while walking out. The concern over Bynes' mental health following several car incidents she has been involved in over the past few months. She has been charged with 2 hit and runs as well as a misdemeanor DUI, and her license has been suspended, though it doesn't seem to stop her from driving, allegedly smoking a suspicious substance in her car. According to E! Online, Amanda Bynes' next court date is set for September 21st on misdemeanor DUI charges, and she appears in court on September 27th for the hit and run charges. So she has a lot on her plate right now. A lot on her plate, and I think it's time for her families and friends to step in. Find out what's going on, what's happening. If something is wrong mentally, according to a lot of neighbors, that they feel something is mentally wrong. Let's get that worked out right now. Forget about Hollywood. Forget about movies. Let's get your health. Your health is more important. Let's get that. Let's get that straightened out. Um, I don't know what to say other than the fact that it's disappointing to hear this. It really is. She has always been a person that everybody looks at as being one of the stars that did not need to be in the spotlight all the time. And to be fair, she hasn't really been in the spotlight until now. She has really kept away from the spotlight more so than being in it. So hearing this situation, it saddens me. It really does. I'm not gonna lie, it does sadden me. Like I said, this is one of the stars that I have grew up with. Um, Pretty much grew up together when we was watching the shows, when my family was watching the shows, and she was always one of those stars that that stood out. So to hear this, it really is disappointing. So I just hope things work out. I really do. What's your think on this, guys? Do you think that there's something really truly wrong, and or do you feel that this is just typical Hollywood? I don't think it is. I think something's really wrong, but you guys have a different opinion on that. I'd like to hear your opinion. Bring it on, and just leave it in the comment section. So, all right, I'm down to 3 articles. I got time for this one. Matter of fact, might as well just finish it off in this one shot right here. Might as well do it. Considering I got only 2 articles and one I'm pretty much gonna leave for another time, but I want to get to this. I'll make this my last article because the other one is not that important. But if it makes you feel better, I'll talk quick on it. The Master is an independent film, as you guys know. It's a film that actually independently have done pretty well. It actually done very well for an independent film, and it is actually one of those films that that surprised a lot of people. It actually got okay reviews. It wasn't the greatest review, but it's okay. But The Master got off to a strong start on Friday. It grossed $242,000. Now I know what you guys are thinking. That's not. That's nothing. That's not even worth mentioning in the conversation. But actually, it is, because the fact is, this is a art house movies, and art house movies generally do not do well in terms of millions. That's not what an art house film is mostly all about. Art house movies have a very different style of audience, and they're viewed in a much different light than the mega blockbuster films that we see in theaters. Because a lot of art house theaters who make these films, The Master could be played in one theater in the entire city. I think The Master is played in a couple of art house theaters in my city, but they're not played in major theaters. And the fact that it drew that much money is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's actually pretty damn impressive. Another film that I go voting for is The Artist. I'm gonna tell you right now, Artist, I found out that about that movie because it was nominated for Golden Globe, and I'm like, a lot of people was talking about this film, giving high praise, and I'm like, what the hell is The Artist? I never even heard of this film. I didn't even hear it was promoted, and I said, you know what? Let me just watch the film, and I said, you know, this is a very good film, and it was crowded. It was a lot of people there. It was a lot of people who was over the age of 50, but it was a lot of people there. And The Masters is one of those films that actually had taken a very good amount of numbers in the art house form. Now, granted, it may not be the top 5, it may not be the top 10, but the fact that it is a film that is basically out there, and by the way, it did broke art house box office records. It says a lot. It really does. So, it's a film. Will I view this film? I probably will, and give my own opinion on it. But to me, it definitely deserves some mentioning at some light. But again, it's a big thing. For the simple fact is, for the last few years, art house movies has been being looked at more and more, and that's largely because of the quality of some of the films that are being put in art house films. Like I said, The Artist, never heard the film, saw the film, it was great, and by the way, The Artist won for Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Score, Best Director. So there you go. And that's not even a mainstream movie. So it was an art house film. So here in the Masters, you never know. This film may actually surprise people again, and be one of those movies that will win out in the Academy Awards. So it could happen. I'm just saying it could happen. But I'll leave a link down below. It's not a long article. It's very, very short. But it pretty much stems from what I wanted to say about it. So there you go. I'm going to leave a link. And you guys, if you guys seen the film, let me know what you think about the film. I'd like to know from your own opinion. But I'm going to move on. So I did mention it. Let's move on to the last article I want to talk about. And that's Jennifer Lawrence. Surprisingly, she took the time off to poke fun as Dina Lohan. And I have mixed feelings on this because the article clearly states that it says that Jennifer Lawrence dishes Dina Lohan. My mom likes her, but with good taste. Don't know why that article is like that, but apparently this brought up some very mixed reactions. I also thought it was kind of cheap shot when I heard it, but I'm just going to read it, and then I'm going to voice my own concern about it. We're not sure who should be more upset, Jennifer Lawrence's mother or Dina Lohan. In October issues of W magazine, the Oscar-nominated actress told the magazine that she often feels like a loser at award parties, and that her own mother embarrassed her on the red carpet. My mom talks about Hunger Games on the red carpet at the Academy Awards, which was something I had told her a million times not to do. Mother's pride, what can I tell you? It's it is what it is. I mean, she's proud of her daughter. I can't complain about that. My mom would probably do the same thing, especially in that situation. She explains she's like Dina Lohan, but with good taste. We're not sure that it's a fair comparison, since Dina Lohan has been described as the worst parent ever and the worst mother in America. Who makes these surveys? I'm just curious. The apple apparently doesn't fall far from the tree, as 49-year-old mother to troubled Scarlett Lindsay Lohan appears to have her own demons. In a clip from an upcoming interview with Dr. Phil, Dina appears intoxicated as she cries fluently and babbles incoherently, confusing Dr. Phil. Now, before I go any further, yeah, there's been some talk about this. I haven't viewed the video, and I can't really say too much about it. She came out later and said she wasn't drunk, and that it was being blown out of proportion. So, but that's as far as I can go with that. I didn't bother. I'm not a Dr. Phil fan. I'm keeping it real. There's a lot of stuff he did that I did not like, and I tend to keep away from his program as much as possible. But apparently, from what I understand from my sister, she didn't seem to be all there when she was doing an interview. And my only conclusion to that, just offhand, I just think she was trying to be a little loose, trying to have fun, and apparently it was just taken the wrong way. But then again, I gotta look at the video. And if you guys look at the video and you not the link to that video, please, by all means, I'll take a look at it. Just link me up. I'll watch it. But I really don't know what to say. I really don't think she's gonna go that far into a talk show, knowing that people are gonna look at her in a negative way more than what they already have. But I could be wrong. Dina has already denied that the show she was drunk during the interview, telling TMZ all people saw was 2 minutes editing of an hour-long interview. Of course they cut it to make it look interesting. That's their job. I don't blame them for doing that. Actually, I will be pissed. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. You cut it to the point where it looks like I'm looking drunk and belligerent. I'm gonna be very pissed off. I'm sorry. There's no reason for that. I don't care what your excuse is. Yeah, if that's your that's your way to get ratings, then you know what? You should never put me in the interview. Some of the comments were taken out of context, but I'm fine. I'm fine. The elder Lohan can deny whatever she wants, but her reputation as one of her daughter's biggest um, biggest and what the hell and bumblers isn't going to fade away no matter what she says. Given the circumstances, we think Jennifer Lawrence probably owes her mother an apology. I agree in that point, that last sentence that they said, because I don't think you want to compare. That's the last person you want to compare your mother to, especially if you already know your mother got class. I just think that she was just trying to be funny about it, but I still think that in many ways I do think she owed an apology. That's why I said it was a little bit mixed with that. But as far as Dana's concerned, again, I tend to be a little bit on her side. Mind you, I have to see the video to give a full thing, but to her going drunk on an interview, I don't think that was the case. I just think that there were some things that she tried to do. I think she was just trying to be funny, and it just turned out wrong. But again, I have to see it. I gotta see the whole thing. I can't see just a 3-minute clipping. I gotta see the whole thing, and then I can be able to make my own thing. But make no mistake about it, her and her ex-husband. A lot of people have very, very not so nice things to say about them, and that's all stemming to how, in their opinion, failed to be parents to Lindsay Lohan, make sure that the Hollywood doesn't swallow her whole, which resulted into her all-night partyings and her drug habit, especially her other stuff that got her in so much trouble. It's not even funny. I say that that's partially to blame. The parents are, especially when their daughter was in their teenage years. But I'm not gonna put all the blame to them. Lindsay still is responsible for Lindsay. She when she reached the age of 18, she has to be accountable for her own actions. So you can blame the parents for so much, but after a while, you gotta start looking at Lindsay Lohan as part of the problem, especially when it's clear that she's self-destructing. Again, the parents should have stepped up to the plate and say, hey, look, enough of this. You're doing, you're not helping matters. You're out of control. But at the same time, Lindsay also has to be responsible for her own actions as well. As far as Jennifer Lawrence concerned, I wouldn't compare your mother to Dina Lohan. I think that that was a little bit below the belt. But she may have been joking, especially when you see the article. It's very clear that she was like, oh, she is embarrassing me. She keeps saying about the Hunger Games. And again, this is simple. This is typical mother who is proud of her daughter. I mean, who wouldn't be? I mean, she's been very successful. She's definitely on demand in terms of roles. She's going to be in the other Hunger Game movies. So, there's definitely a sense of pride there. She's very proud of her daughter. And I think that there's nothing wrong with that. And as far as Jennifer Lawrence is concerned, can't wait to see her in the next Hunger Games. I can't even wait to see her in the next X-Men. I'm looking forward to seeing her in both of these roles. So, in terms of that, whether I just don't think that I just think it's not that big of a deal. But for the media to say it, should she think she'll owe an apology? Maybe, but you know what? It's not that big deal. Alright guys, that's pretty much it. As usual, I will leave all the links below. You guys can comment below. Originally I was going to do it as a two-parter, but there was really no need for it. That's pretty much it. And until then, guys, you guys can comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Give me your feedback. And until next time, this is Jason87 saying take care. Be safe.